Tonight, HGTV will take you into some unbelievable homes that are just to die for. At 8, they put the scare in scary flicks. Now, Nancy Glass takes you to celebrity homes where fabulous design lurks around every corner on Halloween Homes. Then at 9, tour a few ghostly homes with some celebrated residents of the past who may be making a comeback. Finally, at 10, we'll take you to even more haunted houses, famed for frightening their guests. It's a trilogy of Halloween specials tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on HGTV.
If children could vote, they'd choose Judge Richard Lilly. Judge Lilly has prosecuted more cases on behalf of abused children than any other.
You're watching HGTV Daytime, right here on Home and Garden Television.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton, the house doctor. Welcome once again to the House Doctor, the show that teaches you how to fix up your home or apartment. Now, on today's program, I'm going to show you a simple way to prevent potential disaster if you own a washing machine. And I'll show you how to save money by doing your own faucet repair. But first, when a viewer wanted me to help him install a new low-maintenance plastic fence, well, I paid him a house call. Well, I'd like you to meet Jay. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Thanks for coming over, Ron.
Well, thanks for having me over.
Pleasure to have you.
Now, you asked me to come by and take a look at your fence here, right? You want to replace this.
Right.
Okay. Now, what are some of the features that you're going to be looking for in a new fence?
We were looking for something that was durable, clean-looking, low maintenance. Something we could just put in and forget about.
No painting.
Absolutely no painting.
Okay. And after a bit of research, you came up with this material right here. Now, this fence that we're going to be putting in is made completely of polyvinyl chloride, PVC plastic. The posts, the rails, the pickets, everything. I think you're going to find this a very interesting project. So, first thing we got to do is tear the old one down. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's do it. Now, we've got this wire fencing right here, so I've gone ahead and cut this into sections about, 6 feet long or so. Also cut the wood rails up here, and these should just, the posts are so rotted on these. Go ahead, Jay, just shove yours over, yeah. See, this is going to make it a little easier to carry these away because they're now in more manageable sizes. Now, the first thing we want to do is determine the position of our new fence, and that's what the stake is all about. Now, Jay's decided that he wants the fence about 10 inches back from the edge of this sidewalk so that he can plant some small plants along here, and that the top of the fence, the top of the post, that is, need to be 44 inches above the top of this sidewalk. Now, you could make a fence level, but it's usually better to make it follow the grade, in this case, the sidewalk itself. So here's how I'm going to make sure that we have a marking at exactly 44 inches from the sidewalk down here. I've taped by tape measure to my 4-foot level like this. And I'll place my 2-foot level at the 44-inch mark. Now we're going to make the, let me get it back here a little bit, make the 4-foot level exactly vertical, the 2-foot level exactly level. And okay, Jay, go ahead and make a mark there. That should be 44 inches. All right, now Jay's going to slip a piece of string over that post. I'm going to take this and go down to the other end of the fence. Now, down here on the other end, we've put in the second stake, measured up again 44 inches, and we'll slip this line right over this post here. And now we have a line that is straight at the proper height and the proper distance from the sidewalk. After determining where the top of our fence is going to be, the next thing we did was decide where the post hole should be located. Now, this fence comes in standard 4- and 6-foot sections, so we've laid out our positions here on the ground and begun to dig those holes. Now, the ideal fence post hole should probably be about 30 inches deep and about 12 inches in diameter. Now, the first posts to be set are the gate posts. You notice the top of the post is level with this line right here. And the distance or width between these posts needs to be the width of the gate plus any necessary clearance from the hardware. From here, we're going to build the fence out in both directions. Each section of this PVC plastic fence consists of posts, rails, and these pickets. And all you have to do to assemble a section is to sort of line these pre-drilled holes in the rail in the picket, insert a screw, and attach them together. Next, we'll insert the ends of these rails in these cutouts in the side of the post right here. There's the top one. Let me get the bottom one in down here. There we go. Then go down to this end, drop this post in the hole. There's no concrete in here yet. And slip this end of the rail into this post. There. We're going to set these posts using something called fence post concrete mix. Now, the nice thing about this material is that you don't have to pre-mix it. You actually put it in the fence post hole dry and then add water later. So, okay, we actually put a little bit of water in the hole to start with, just to dampen the soil down there and to keep the dust down a little bit. And as soon as we get this in here, I'm going to take a shovel and kind of just pack this down a little bit. This will just take some of the voids out of it. And then Jay's going to come back now and add some water. Okay, whenever you're ready, Jay, go ahead. Okay, we're turning our water on. Come around here to the front here. There we go. And this is all it takes to mix this stuff. Just add water right in the hole here. There we go. Okay, I think that's about enough for right now. Now, well, this is still wet. We want to check this, first of all, for height. See, we're just a little bit below our string here, so we'll pull this up, get it right level with the string, and then check to make sure that it's vertical, both in this direction, and it looks pretty good, and in this one. Once we've gotten our post plumb in both directions, we're going to fill up the rest of this hole with some concrete, again, putting it in dry, just adding some water. Now, if this was a conventional wooden fence post, we would have brought our concrete up slightly above ground level and then sort of tapered it away like this so that any water running down here would hit the concrete and run away from the post, not down between the post and the concrete, causing it to rot. But this post, of course, is not going to rot. It's plastic. So we've been able to leave our concrete down here below ground level. Now we can fill this up with soil and then plant grass or ground cover or whatever right up to the edge of this post. Now, this fence comes in several different styles. As a matter of fact, it's been used for agricultural and industrial applications for several years. Well, Jay, I'll tell you what, I've got a question for you. How long would you say, I know we started and stopped here because of the taping and everything, but how long would it take you to put this fence up if it were just you and, say, one other person?
Probably a good day's work.
So in one day you can put this up and then you're really done with it for 20 years, right?
Right.
Well, you remember how the front yard looked before we started. Well, it certainly looks a great deal different now. Later in the show, how to install a garden water pump. And next, all you need to know about repairing your faucet.
Brought to you by Owens Corning, system thinking for the home.
It's no fun to itch. That's why Owens Corning created Miraflex insulation. It's made with a revolutionary fiber that's virtually itch-free. So it not only saves on fuel bills, it's more comfortable to handle and install. Use Miraflex insulation because life is better when you don't itch. For a free sample of Miraflex fiber, call 1-800-GET-PINK.
The next time one of your kitchen or bathroom faucets develops a leak or a drip, well, you could pick up the telephone and call a plumber, or you could pick up one of these and do it yourself. Now, what I've done is assemble several of the most common kinds of kitchen and bathroom faucets, and I want to show you how to take them apart, what the most common sources of leaks are, and how to fix them. So let's start with this one. This is what's known as a single lever ball type faucet. And the trick here is getting it apart because it seems like there's no way to do that. But if you lift the handle up and look right under here, there's a small set screw. Now to work on this faucet, you want to get one of these tools. It has an Allen wrench on this end, which goes right into the set screw. And you simply turn it counterclockwise and lift the handle off. Next, using the opposite end of this tool, we want to loosen what's called an adjusting ring. There are two little tips right here that engage these slots in the adjusting ring. Just turn that, again counterclockwise, and remove it. Then we're going to want to remove this dome-shaped cap. To do that, I'm going to use a tool called a strap wrench. This will prevent us from doing any marking or damaging this finish in any way. It's a cotton web strap that simply slips over the dome like this. And as we turn it, it grips and then loosens up the dome. So let's unscrew this. Okay, now underneath the dome, we have what's called a cam. We'll just simply lift this off. And underneath that, a cam washer. Now sometimes these will wear out, and if they do, you tend to develop leaks where the water is sort of coming up this way and then running down the side of the spout, just like so. Now this is why they call us a ball-type faucet, because this little ball controls the flow of water. You simply lift it out, and then come over and look down right inside here. This is the source of most leaks in a faucet of this type. And what we've got here are two little rubber seals. You want to remove both of those. If you have a leak at the base of the spout right down here, most likely the cause is one of these O-rings, one here and one here. To remove these, you can take a small screwdriver, kind of get it underneath, and simply pull it out. So these gaskets or seals or washers, whatever you want to call them, are the places where most likely you're going to have water leaking out. And perhaps one of the easiest ways to make this repair is to simply go down to the plumbing department and pick up a little kit like this, which has all of these parts in it. If you decide to only get one or two of these, always make sure to take the part with you and get an exact match. When you're reassembling this faucet, here are a couple of things to keep in mind. There's a small slot on the ball right here which needs to engage a small pin on the side of the housing. That makes sure that the ball goes in the proper position. And when you're putting the cam back, there's also a small pin on the side of that which needs to slip into this slot right here. Now this is the bathroom version of the single lever ball type faucet. You repair it the same way except for removing the handle. To get the handle off, you pop off this little decorative cap on the top, take a screwdriver, remove this screw by turning it counterclockwise, and then lift the handle off. From here on, it's the same as the kitchen type that we just finished. Now this third one is a cartridge type faucet. To disassemble it, again you pop off the decorative cap, loosen the screw underneath by turning it counterclockwise, lift off the handle. Now, we have a sort of a decorative trim piece right here which just sort of slides right up, like so. And for this, you're going to need to come around in the back here because I want to show you something. Right here is a small cartridge clip. You want to grab that with a pair of needle nose pliers and simply pull it out like that. With the clip removed, we'll grab the top of the cartridge with a pair of pliers and pull it out. Now, if your faucet is old or you live in an area that has hard water, water with a lot of mineral deposits, then you may want to consider getting one of these tools. This is called a cartridge extractor, and it's designed to remove cartridges that are really jammed in there from years of use or from corrosion. You simply slip it on top of the cartridge, tighten up this screw in the center like this, run the outer sleeve down, and then use a wrench on the sleeve. And as you turn this down, you will very slowly and very gently pull the cartridge loose. Usually a few turns is enough, and that's how you remove it. The cause of leaks in cartridge-type faucets are almost always worn O-rings like this. Once again, what you want to do is take them out, go down to the hardware store, and get exact matches for them. Now, sometimes this cartridge can be so badly worn that it simply needs to be replaced. In that case, take the entire cartridge down and find one that's an exact match. To extend the life of a cartridge-type faucet and to make it easier and smoother to use, it's a good idea to apply some waterproof plumber's grease when you reassemble it. Now, if you have an older home, this may be the most common kind of faucet at all. It's called a compression faucet. And again, to disassemble this, we start by removing the decorative cap on the handle and backing out the screw. Now, sometimes these handles are very stubborn to get off, again, especially if you have hard water. So you might want to consider getting a faucet removing tool or puller. And it has got a couple of arms, as you can see, that sort of extend underneath the edge of the faucet. Just like that. There we go. And a pin that goes down into the center on the top of the valve stem. And as you screw this down, it loosens the faucet up, or the handle up, excuse me, and pulls it off. Next, unscrew the valve itself, usually by using an adjustable wrench like so. and take it out. The most common source of leaks in this kind of faucet are the washers or O-rings around the packing nut right here, or the seals around the stem itself. However, a dripping faucet in this case is most commonly caused by a bad faucet washer. Remember I said this is called a compression faucet? That's because as you turn this off, this little rubber washer down here gets compressed, and that's what actually causes the flow of water to stop. Take the washer itself out, carry it down to the hardware store with you, and get an exact match. Or, if you prefer, you can get a box of assorted washers like this, so you'll have one for the next job. Leaks around the faucet base are usually caused by faulty washers or O-rings right here on the shaft. Now, needless to say, before you begin work on any faucet, you want to be sure and turn off the water supply. Now, in most cases, under the sink, sometimes inside a cupboard, you'll see a couple of shut-off valves like these. Just turn them in a clockwise direction until they won't go any further. And the good thing is you've only turned the water off to the faucets. You still have it to use in the rest of the house. Also, consider getting a home repair book, one that specializes in plumbing. These have got great illustrations on the inside that take you through these repair projects step by step. So, if you've got a faucet that's leaking or dripping, you can pick up that phone, or you can pick up that screwdriver and do it yourself. Next, what every washing machine owner needs to know to prevent a disaster.
Cuyahoga County, I'm your prosecutor, and we have an emergency. Violent young drug and gang offenders in an overcrowded 66-year-old facility built for truants and runaways. Today, youth crime is serious. We need issue 11 to help prevent crime by kids at risk. Turn first offenders around before it's too late, and add jail space for mandatory sentences. Vote for issue 11. Just $2 a month, prevent youth crime, and punish violence.
If children could vote, they'd choose Judge Richard Lilly. Judge Lilly has prosecuted more cases on behalf of abused children than any attorney in America. Vote for the children. Vote for their judge. Retain Judge Richard Lilly. In this demanding world of justice, we need to re-elect Judge Pat Kelly. Judge Pat Kelly sets the standards on the bench, in the courtroom. That's why Judge Pat Kelly's re-election is so widely recommended. Keep a good judge. Re-elect Judge Pat Kelly.
Some say 5 minutes can change your entire day. Inner bath showers. Imagine what 10 minutes can do.
The Hudson Rose and Garden Sprayer. It's endorsed by the American Rose Society, but you'd expect that with a Hudson sprayer. Hudson Sprayers, more than you think. Find out, call 888-LADYBUG. Hudson Sprayers, buy now at Lowe's and lawn and garden centers everywhere.
Now Craftsman has an innovative handle on screwdriver design. It's the Craftsman Grip Driver, a revolutionary screwdriver that's more versatile and generates up to twice the turning force of standard screwdrivers. And it's available only from Sears. The Grip Driver's patented multi-position handle lets you ratchet and transfer more of your arm strength to the screw head where you need it. The Grip Driver has a 3-position ratcheting shaft, so you can drive or remove screws without having to reposition the tool. The Grip Driver comes with 2 Phillips and 2 slotted bits. At only $19.99, it's a real value and makes a great gift, too. A powerful magnet keeps the bits tight, and screws are held in place, so tough spots can be reached with one hand. With its superior turning force and rugged ratchet mechanism, the Craftsman Grip Driver is a must-have for every home. And because it's a Craftsman hand tool, it's guaranteed forever. Call now.
Have your Sears or other credit card ready and call 1-800-998-5959 now to order your Craftsman Grip Driver for only $19.99 plus shipping and handling.
Here's landscape architect Ken McFerrin with some tips on building a backyard pond.
The great feature to any landscape is a pond. They're a lot easier to install than you may think, plus they recycle all the water. But before you install your pond, here's some tips that you might find real useful. First, there are 3 types of ponds to consider if you want to construct one. One is your basic, the old-fashioned concrete ponds, which are generally used for large commercial businesses or like you see in amusement parks. Second type is a vinyl pond. The hole is dug, there's a little bit of sand put on, then the vinyl just sets into position however you have the hole dug. The problem with the vinyl, they're easily torn, or holes can be put in them easily. And also they have a fairly short lifespan, 15, 20 years tops. My favorite pond, and the best I think, is the fiberglass pond. These are formed fiberglass, they're poured, they're much stronger. They're easily to set in place. They come in many different shapes and sizes and depths. 15 inches, I think the maximum is about 3 feet. They're easy to put in. The key thing to remember is when you're installing this type of pond, you have to backfill both around the side of the pond as you fill the pond itself with water, especially on your larger ponds to keep them from collapsing. Next, you want to determine what you want to use your pond for. There are several applications. One is a fountain. You need to know the size of the fountain, how high you want it to spray, how wide you want the pattern to be, so that the water ends up back in the pond itself. 2 other applications would be types of waterfalls. In this case, we have a fairly long stream bed. Water comes out of the rocks above, trickles down a stream bed, which is one effect, and then flows into the pond itself, giving you a waterfall effect. The other application, if you have a smaller environment, would be to simply have the waterfall right here with a small trickle stream running over the rocks right here. The type of pond or application that you use will now determine the size of the pump and type of pump that we need. This is the pump that we've used for this pond. This pond is 3 feet by 5 feet, 15 inches deep. This pond pumps about 570 gallons an hour. This joint right here, this elbow, attaches to this pipe, which goes to the top of the hill. This elbow is not glued, so it makes it easier to remove the pump and clean out this filter right here. This helps keep the water clean and keeps debris from plugging up your 3/4 inch pipe. Now I'll show you how to determine the type of pump that you're going to need for your pond. In order to determine the size of pump that you need, we need 2 measurements. One is the vertical rise of the water, and the other is the distance of which that water is going to travel back into the pond. In order to get the vertical rise of the water, we've attached a string at the top where the water is going to come out. We've attached another string on the stake at where the pump is. We've then put a level on that string to keep that nice and level. We will now measure from the top of the string to the bottom of the pond. So here we are measuring the height of the string from the top of the pond, and it's very important that you add the depth of the pond to this number. So next we want to determine the second measurement, which is the distance that the water has to flow from the top of the stream bed down to the pond itself. With those 2 numbers, we then can go to a purveyor and find the pump that we want by looking up those numbers, and it will tell you how high it will pump and give you the gallons per hour that the pump will put out for your application. With summer here, you might want to consider adding the beauty and the tranquility of waterfall to your landscape.
You know, we don't often think about it, but our washing machine, especially if it's located inside our house, is a potential accident just waiting to happen. Well, not actually the washing machine itself, but these hoses right here. Now, typically, a washing machine is installed by connecting these rubber hoses to 2 valves. The valves are usually left in the on position, which means that these hoses are under constant water pressure, 60, 70, sometimes as much as 120 pounds per square inch. Well, what can happen after some time, and especially if those hoses are subjected to heat or sunlight, is that they can burst, just like this one. Now, if you don't happen to be home, if you're at work or worse on a vacation, the water damage from a broken hose like this to floors and walls can be extensive and very expensive. The solution to this potential problem is to replace these hoses before they break. Now, to do that, we'll begin by shutting off the water valves and then disconnecting the hoses. To keep from making a mess, as you unscrew these, remember these hoses are filled with water. Just put the end of them right in the washing machine, close the lid on top. Next, we disconnect the hoses from the back of the washing machine. Now, rubber replacement hoses like this can be found at most hardware stores. They cost about $5 or $6 and should be replaced every 2 or 3 years, unless you have excessively high water pressure in your house. That is something over 75 or 80 pounds per square inch. If that's the case, you may want to consider one of these braided steel supply lines. Now, these last 2 or 3 times longer than the rubber hose. Unfortunately, they cost about 2 or 3 times as much. Now, how do we actually know if our water pressure is higher than average? Well, with this little device right here. It's a water pressure test gauge, and you can rent these or, in fact, buy one for about $15 from a hardware store. And the way they work is to simply screw it on the hose bib closest to your water meter. Just kind of finger tighten this, turn the water on, and read the pressure. Now, this is coming out at just about 75 pounds per square inch. That's on the high side of normal. So I think in this case, we're going to go ahead and use those steel braided supply lines. Now, the water inlet connections on the back of the washer are labeled hot and cold. So here's a good suggestion. Put a piece of tape on the hot hose here, and then make sure that, in fact, you do connect the hot hose to the hot water supply line. Now, these generally should be snugged up with your fingers, as tight as you can get them, and then, using a pair of pliers or channel locks, give them just a 1/4 turn of additional tightening, no more. All right, so now all we have to do is turn the water back on, check to be sure that we don't have any leaks, and we've given ourselves some insurance from a possible accident for several years.
This is the true story of one real family and their adventure to create their dream home. No actors.
The stress, I think, is starting to wear on me.
No scripts.
I need some people out here working.
See what happens when the homeowners, the architect, and the builder all come together and come apart.
The estimate for the excavating does not cover this?
Dream House, tonight at 10:30 on HGTV.
It's going to be good when it's done.
If you're experiencing growing pains at home, building a room addition is easier than you might think. New for wall applications, Miraflex R13 and R19 insulation take the itch out of insulating exterior walls. Miraflex is virtually itch-free, so it's easier to handle and install. Call 1-800-GET-PINK for other ways to make your home a more comfortable place to be. Brought to you by Owens Corning.
Every day, more people are choosing Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. And here's why. Lowe's has everything to make decorating projects quick and easy, like
wallpaper, borders, coordinating rugs, towels, and curtains, and more blinds in stock than any other store.
Or check out special order blind and wallpaper books from our library.
All at everyday low prices, guaranteed.
So see a Lowe's design specialist and go from this to this, like that. When it comes to home improvement, Lowe's knows.
We're here to demonstrate the new Weiserlock Powerbolt 3000 home access system, a fancy name for the lock on your front door. The difference is this handy remote. Easy and convenient. Powerbolt is easy to install and smart. It can open the garage door, turn your house lights off and on, and it tells you when your home is locked and secure. And with our patented Brilliance finish, it will last a lifetime. The Weiserlock Powerbolt 3000 home access system from a single remote.
Cuyahoga County, I'm your prosecutor, and we have an emergency. Violent young drug and gang offenders in an overcrowded 66-year-old facility built for truants and runaways. Today, youth crime is serious. We need issue 11 to help prevent crime by kids at risk. Turn first offenders around before it's too late, and add jail space for mandatory sentences. Vote for issue 11. Just $2 a month, prevent youth crime, and punish violence.
If you're a homeowner looking to save money on your current monthly mortgage, or you'd like to finance the purchase of a home, call Fidelity Funding today. Or if you're a homeowner paying $1,000 a month or more in credit card and other bills, Fidelity Funding can help reduce your monthly payments by up to 1/2, and maybe even get you some extra cash. So whether you want to purchase a home, refinance your current mortgage, or consolidate your monthly debt payments, even if you've had some past credit problems, call Fidelity Funding at 1-800-269-4100.
Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to roll up your sleeves, get out there, and tackle some of those projects that you may have been putting off. And please join me next time, when, as always, I'll have lots of tips and suggestions to make your next home improvement job just a little bit easier. See you then.